Whiskey thoughts.
Oh. My whiskey thought this week has to do with pre-fight rituals. One in particular, and that is Jan Blachowicz.
Jan Blachowicz.
Yes, Jan Blachowicz. So, quick story about Jan Blachowicz. I don't know if you know this. He one day was out walking with his dog in the forest, and he came across a man who had hung himself. So he did as someone would do, called the police, the whole thing. The police officer asked if he would like to keep the rope of the person that was hung. Apparently, he had to go home and do some research. Apparently, this is a thing, a good luck charm, that if you find someone that has hung themselves, keep the rope and you touch it every time you're doing something, and it's going to give you good luck. Well, apparently that worked for Jan Blachowicz, because since then is when he went on his big streak. He won the championship, and he gives a lot of credit to that whole experience. He didn't take the rope home. He does at least go out into the forest and touch the rope, so a little less weird. But I had a couple quick takeaways from that. One, if you are unfortunate enough to find someone hanging dead, go ahead and take that rope and touch it before you do anything big in your life. And two, I got some time off coming up. I bought us both flights to Poland, and we're gonna
test the rope.
We're gonna go find that rope.
We're gonna go turn our lives around. Dude, those Polish people are tougher than us. If that's like a tradition, a Polish tradition is like, hey, you found someone. It's like a fucking game show. Congratulations, you found a suicide
victim. Although I don't know if it works for us since we didn't find the
who knows. That's it's a gray area.
Yeah. Well, we could get it and use it as a ransom.
There you go.
For Blachowicz, because he needs it.
Exactly.
So that's my whiskey thought. What a weird pre-fight ritual.
All right, let's get this in.
All right.
Wow, it is super full.
I told you. Ooh.
Wow.
Suck it down.
My whiskey thought came from that Joaquin Buckley knockout. So he has that spectacular knockout over Impa Kasangarai. It makes the rounds everywhere, like very few UFC clips do. It's on SportsCenter and highlights all over the social media platforms.
Nasty.
Well,
knockout.
Scott Van Pelt got a hold of it on his midnight showing of his SportsCenter that he hosts. ESPN anchor Scott Van Pelt, and his reaction was, "I get that people love it. I don't. I don't love that. The guy is out, mashes his head against the ground. Yay." Now, my whiskey thought is, why do you have to be so condescending, for one? You don't have to love the UFC. Just because you work for the UFC, I don't expect you to just have good things to say about it. You're a very respected, anchor. I like you. But for someone that loves football so much, he went to Maryland. He loves that college football team, the Terrapins. Terrible mascot. Someone even said to him, like, why do you support football? There's so much studies on CTE, so many concussions, terrible brain trauma. He said, well, we don't show it on TV. Well, it's like, so just because...
How do you do, though?
Just because like you don't fetishize the moment that person gets concussed doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Are we really people that are just like, I didn't see it, therefore it didn't happen, so I can still support the thing,
but
even though it's happening? Of course they show it.
They show every tackle.
But my point is, if you don't fetishize the tackle that the person gets hurt, but you enjoy the play that person made getting hurt. Just like this, if you actually knew anything about UFC, we're not saying, oh yeah, he mashed his head against the ground, he's got brain trauma. Yeah. We're marveling at the artistry of Buckley's technique to be able to land that strike. No one's happy to see his eyes roll back in his head and then it bounces. That's terrible, obviously. But because it's the sport and we love the sport and we're watching the sport, we're marveling at the KO artist that Buckley is, and we're not saying, oh, we're happy that. So for him to be like condescending, like, oh, this guy's out, mashes his head against the ground, yay, I don't love it. It's like, dude, you love boxing. You don't talk that way about boxing. You don't talk that way about football. But I will give him credit. after a lot of people came after him, which I don't feel like people should freak out that much because that's just his opinion. He was able to have like a conversation, admit sometimes where he felt like he was wrong, or another person made a good point. He was actually able to have a good back and forth, which I thought was refreshing, and not someone that just puts his feet in the ground and just continues to be a dick. But I think he was a little bit off on this one. But it was just interesting to kind of see that whole exchange, and he was kind of cool. Like I said, he was cool about it at the end. So yeah. This is my whiskey thought.
It's a good whiskey thought. I like it. Well, we'll go ahead and move on to the main event of this upcoming fight card. That, of course, is Brian Ortega, T-City, taking on the Korean zombie Chan Sung Jung. This is a big fight, likely a title eliminator
Probably could
fight.
have articulated that whole whiskey thought better if I had like 4 shots of our new whiskey, 4 roses there. We didn't even mention.
I know, yeah. I know. I jumped right into the whiskey thoughts without really explaining what it is.
That's a tight cork.
But
it's good. I think it's pretty smooth.
Not bad.
I've never even heard of it before.
It's better than, what did we have prior to that? Woodford Reserve. Go ahead and get that out of here. And better than Wild Turkey.
Yeah.
So, unless Woodford Reserve,
Wild Turkey,
yeah.
But for now, we're 4 roses, guys.
Yeah. And Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, Buffalo always.
That's that hitter.
That's that stuff.